The ocean. It's everywhere. Vast, deep, and covers the majority of our planet. But what do we really know about it? And perhaps even more unsettling, do we know what lurks within? Hello and welcome to the Hoke Poke Pod, the show where we explore the strange and unusual.
Really? We're just two idiots poking stuff we don't understand.
So join us as we dare to ask the questions that nobody wants answered, such as, how badly would you die at the bottom of the Mariana Trench?
Is it possible to fend off a giant squid in hand-to-hand combat?
And what's more chilling, the ocean itself or the things that call it home? I'm Erica.
And I'm Emily.
Let's dive right in.
Oh, I see.
So, welcome to the third episode of the Hoke Poke Pod, and we've taken a slightly different approach this time. This is a you versus me, a battle royale, I suppose, of who can find things the most unsettling, the most strange, and the most unusual. Topics, the ocean. Mine specifically being the actual sort of nature of the ocean, the water, the darkness, the pressure, etc., etc.
All that fun scientific stuff.
I got the fun science and numbers.
Mine are the really freaky deep sea creatures that exist in the waters. Honestly, some of these I didn't even know about, but we'll touch on a few, otherwise we'll be here for hours.
Yeah, we could pretty much talk forever about all the creatures under the water. And so we haven't looked at each other's topics tonight.
No.
We've just done our own research, and the idea is that we're going to try to compete to see what's worse, the ocean or what's inside of it. And we'll hopefully come to an agreement by the end of it.
Or maybe it's an ocean off, so we'll see what our verdicts are.
Yeah, it's all spooky. It's all fucked down there, essentially. So I feel like it's going to be harsh competition. Let's start with let's get a scale of the ocean itself.
Yeah, because
right?
it's like the ocean's very scary and mysterious.
And it's big. It's really, really big.
I think a lot of people underestimate how big the ocean is, actually.
Yeah, and I think it's not just big, it's deep. At its deepest, it's recorded to be 10,994 meters below, which is just about 11 kilometers. Which, to put it into perspective, Mount Everest is only like 8,800 meters tall.
Really?
So the ocean is like a fair whack deeper than Mount Everest is tall. If you were to walk like down it horizontally, it would take you about 2-ish hours to get to the bottom, which isn't actually that long.
Wait, like vertically?
Yeah, like if you cleared
down?
all the water out and popped it on its side, you could walk to the bottom of the Mariana Trench in about 2 hours.
Wow. That's really weird to think about.
It is, because it sounds so deep and so tall, but that's when you think about it. It's like, hey, like I could go for a 2-hour walk.
Just a stroll to your death.
Just a stroll to your death. Like, it also makes all these people who climb Mount Everest, it's like, what's the big deal? No,
Please don't send us angry emails.
I know lots of people die on that mountain. I don't.
You're like, I know people have died. It's okay.
I don't know anyone who died. I know people do die. I know people who've died, just not on Mount Everest. I feel like we've gotten sidetracked. Point is, it's deep, but like it's not that deep, which I think is going to put into perspective a lot of the creepy shit we're about to learn about it sort of in its place. I think the biggest spooky factor of the ocean is, despite it being such a large part of the planet, we've only explored 5 to 10% of it.
That's insane.
Which is absolutely nothing. Do you know more people have been on the moon than have been to the bottom of the ocean?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Like, we've been further out into space than we have been down.
Is that just because the sheer like pressure of the ocean, it's like pretty much impossible to build something for humans to survive in that? Like,
when I kind of was like initially not researching the ocean, I was like, the space, the ocean, I'd imagine would kind of have the same problems, like crazy temperatures, no oxygen, but it's actually very, very different, which I guess kind of explains why we have gone up instead of down, because it's just that much easier to go out into space and survive than it is in the ocean, for reasons that we will get to as we get deeper down.
And I guess people find space probably maybe a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more enticing. Like, we all kind of know what water is. Like, we've all seen sand and like seaweed. And there's this mentality that's like it's all the same all the way down to the bottom. Then the sky and space is certainly more interesting.
Yeah.
You know.
Because like once you get, I think once you get past a certain part of the ocean, it's just sheer black. Whereas in space, you've got stars, you've got the moon.
It's pretty.
Blinding sun.
It's pretty up there. So, we're going to start at the sunshine level, which is the first 200 meters of the ocean. And this is where it's mostly pretty calm and balmy. There's lots of sunshine. And the pressure is not too bad. Now, that's going to be the main thing we talk about is pressure. And the way ocean pressure is talked about is in something called atmospheres. So if you think about the regular pressure on on the beach, walking around on Earth, it's 1. They call that atmosphere 1. So it's very, I know, it's
very simple.
It's really, they do simplify it. Atmosphere 1, and essentially it means that the same amount of pressure pushing onto us, which is actually like 6.6 kilos per square inch, is the same amount of pressure that our body fluids are pushing outwards, so it just equalizes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So 1 is neutral. Every 10 meters down into the ocean you get, that atmospheric pressure is increased by another 1, which means it doubles. So 10 meters down, and you've already doubled that pressure.
Oh my gosh.
So 20 meters down, which you could feasibly swim just regularly at the beach,
And you said the ocean at its deepest point is 10,000 meters.
Which means it's roughly about 11,000 atmosphere. Which is difficult to comprehend. The pressure, I mean, we don't feel any pressure, but imagine that the pressure of the air was 11,000 times stronger than it is right now.
Oh my God. You'd explode, wouldn't you?
Yeah, a little more gruesome than that.
Implode?
It's everything gets sucked inside itself and pops. You'd pop like a balloon full of guts. Not pretty. But we don't need to worry about that because we're only in the sunshine level. 200 meters down, it's balmy. Except when consider that the safe diving levels, I'm talking free diving, you just get a little goggles on, swimming down, is 40 meters. More than 40 meters, it's considered unsafe for just an amateur.
Wow.
Which is not that far. 40 meters down is really not that far because you're already at 5 atmosphere down there. And if you go any further as an untrained person, the atmosphere can start detrimentally affecting your health. It can cause air bubbles in your blood. It can cause you to have the bends in which basically all parts of your organs start to have problems. There's not enough oxygen getting to your head. There's I think a high intake of nitrogen, which can make you feel woozy and potentially go unconscious. The list of things that start happening to your body just increases. More importantly, though, it's all about lung capacity. So your lungs the pressure just builds on them. Your lung capacity shrinks significantly to the point where you're just not going to be able to breathe enough.
Oh my God.
So 40 meters is the safe diving level.
Yeah.
You go down to the beach, 40 meters down is all that is recommended for you to swim.
Wow.
And then you start getting dead after that.
Just a little bit each time.
So if you can imagine 40 meters is bad, we'll drop down to the Twilight Zone, which is 200 meters below. So this is what we would officially call the deep sea. Light starts to fail pretty rapidly. You might still get a little at the top, but after that you're going to start to get into the darkness area. And interestingly, in the Twilight Zone is where 90% of the world's fish population live. So that's where almost all of our food and sharks and et cetera, kind of reside. It's the crowded level. So we said the safe diving level was 40 meters. The world record free dive, which is someone just going down without any sort of apparatus, they'll have usually a sort of weight on a string that'll help them get down fast, but they don't have sort of an oxygen tank or anything like that. So the world record for the free dive was set in 2007, and it's 214 meters.
And what did they say the recommended?
40.
Wow.
So these are highly experienced people who spend their whole lives. They can slow their heart rate down to, I read one record that it said 1 beat every 14 seconds or something.
What the heck?
Yeah.
I feel like it's important to note that neither of us has been diving.
No. I specifically, like, I'm like, the water's fine, but I specifically have a deep fear of, like, the deep ocean and submarines and stuff like that for reasons that will become clear. So 214 meters for the free dive, which is crazy. Like, he had to have so much self-control over his body. And then, so this same guy, Nietzsche, did actually beat his own record a couple of years ago, but not without, like, negative health side effects.
Yeah, how's he doing?
Well, he was fine after 214 meters, and then he pushed it a bit and got a little sick. He's fine. He's alive as far as I know, last I checked.
Wow.
But that's really deep. And then you get into scuba, right? Which is when they have, like, oxygen and proper gear. And the world record for that is 332 meters.
Oh, I thought it would be more.
Well, no, because they're not, like, that's not, like, connected to a hose or anything. That's
No.
just with the tank on you. Because the reason for that is the pressure gets insane. So basically what happens as you go down into the ocean is that the pressure of the ocean is just going to start to crush you, right, and cause all those problems. So it took him 12 minutes to get down 332 meters. In order to prevent what's, like, known as the bends, so basically as you rise, like, the pressure from inside your body is at a different rate to the pressure from outside your body.
Yeah.
And if you don't slowly readjust your internal pressure, you're basically going to, like, crush yourself.
Oh my gosh.
So it took him 12 minutes to get down that far, 15 hours to get back up.
What?
Because he had to go that slowly to prevent himself from just crumbling,
Oh my god.
from just dying down there. There is a MythBusters episode from, like, I think it's season 7 of MythBusters. It's available on YouTube. Go check it out. Where they did this experiment that said, if something goes wrong with your air pressure being pumped into your, like, you know, those old-fashioned diving suits,
Yeah.
and suddenly you were to lose that pressure, your body would basically shrivel up and be, like, sucked up into the helmet.
Ugh.
So they tested it because they're like, well, let's see if this is true. So they got, like, a pretty gruesome, they got, like, a meat sack and, like real meat, and cut it open and stuffed it with, like, organs and blood, stitched it back up again, shoved it into an old diving suit, and then lowered it only 90 meters, right? And they were pumping, like, oxygen through to it to make sure that the pressure inside the suit was, like, adequate to the same pressure from outside. And then they cut that oxygen off to see what would happen. And you can watch this on YouTube, but it is true. The body just starts to get crumpled and, like, pressed on, and then all the meat and the organs and the blood inside of you will get sucked up, and it got sucked up into the helmet and pushed out to the point where the glass and, like, the metal, like, bolts are leaking stomach.
Yuck.
And
Why
it's
does it
caving in.
Why does it go through the helmet?
My guess, because this is completely unscientific.
Just speculating.
My guess is that the helmet is like a air bubble, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's where, like, it's like a vacuum, right? That's where the pressure has built up to. So the pressure to the suit's been cut off, so it all just...
Oh my gosh.
Disgusting. And that's what happens to you when you go down that deep. And we're not even out of the Twilight Zone yet. That video was 90 meters below sea level.
I can't get over the your body being sucked up into the helmet.
Like, watch it. Like, if you're grossed out by gruesome things, maybe give it a skip. Because it is so, like, I love the MythBusters. I've never seen anything that gruesome on it.
Yeah.
It's, like, visceral. So nowadays, of course, they have, like, really extreme precautions and a lot of measures and stuff, but people who spend a lot of time at such deep levels in diving bells and stuff, they have this really complicated system where they, like, have, like, a pressurized chamber up, like, on the surface of the ocean, and the people who work there will actually stay there for, like, days and days at a time. They'll live there because it takes so long for your body to, like, get back to the right pressure, internal pressure, that it's more economic just to have them, like, at the deep sea pressure for, like, a couple of weeks of working.
Your body's literally adjusting to it.
Like the body takes days and days and days to adjust.
Wow. I'm going to step in with a sea creature question for you.
Ooh, a
because we're talking
question.
about pressure.
Okay, yep.
This is a question for you, Erica.
Okay.
What do you think? Pure speculation.
Ooh.
So humans can't go down this far and withstand that much pressure like that. So if deep sea creatures can withstand those ridiculous amounts of pressure, do you think you could sit on them and they would feel it?
That's not where I expected the question to go. You mean like a dolphin? But yes. Right. Okay. Well, no.
Aren't they built
I think, but you get into the water and you can lift up your friends and they don't weigh. Mm-hmm. I think they would feel, but I don't think we can just do this. We can just jump in the pool and test this out. You can lift things way, way heavier than you can underwater because you don't have that pressure.
But they're built to withstand extreme amounts of pressure. Okay. So are they just is their skin so thick that it's
not thick. It's got to do with the blood, the
I see.
Internal liquid, the pressure that your internal liquids are oozing at.
I see.
So our internal liquids are oozing at a pressure of atmosphere 1. The deep sea creatures blood pressure, or not blood pressure, liquid pressure is oozing at a different atmosphere. So it's not about thickness of skin. It's about just the way your internal organs function, I suppose.
So I think the creatures that I'm going to pitch to you today are in the next level down, which is the midnight zone.
Yeah, also, can we take a moment to just appreciate whoever named the zones of the ocean?
Yes, thank you.
All the names of the ocean. We'll get further down and there's some really cool ones, but it's I love a bit of drama, a little artistic flair in my name, and this person really got it. So we moved from the Twilight Zone down to the midnight zone, which is when we're talking 1,000 meters below sea level. So Twilight Zone was 200 meters, so we're dropping a fair amount down to 1,000 meters. And now we have never had humans sort of in the open water dive this deep before. And that's just because we can't do it. We can only exist on this very specific level of the earth. And it's easy to think that that's an enormous level.
I know. I'm going to add to your fear.
Please.
And tell you about a terrifying fish that lives in the midnight zone. Because we've got bioluminescent creatures
cool. I love
down
this.
there. And this particular fish was in Finding Nemo. It features in it, and it looks horrifically ugly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to that fish. It can't hear me.
I don't think it's going to hear you.
It's
It's
too far
underwater.
away. No sound.
It's not true. There is sound underwater.
Yeah, cut that out. It's okay. But the anglerfish has this rod coming out of its head.
Oh yeah, I remember that bad boy from Finding Nemo.
That has a light at the end, and the light, I have learned, is actually tiny glowing bacteria attached to it.
So it's not
Photobacterium.
Okay, wait. So if an anglerfish is born, does it not have its glowy light?
That's a good question.
Is it born with the bacteria? I guess not, though.
I guess I don't know how that works, but basically they live off it. It gives the fish light, and they get nutrients from the fish, so it's like a give-take type thing. But because basically that light lures in the prey, tricks its
underwater
prey,
moths.
whatever it eats, underwater moths. Yeah. And basically those bacteria are like little pawns in its chess game of death. Basically, I think one of the most interesting things about this fish is that the female version of this fish is quite big and is the one that has the rod coming out of it with the light.
Lady,
Classy lady. The male version of this fish literally only exists to find a female to mate with.
That's how it should be, huh? Maybe this fish got things right.
It's like tiny, and that's all it does, is it just goes and finds the female to mate.
Life's simpler in the ocean.
So the female version, the anglerfish, is just like, she rules. She rules that species pretty much.
See, this is where I'm having some trouble with the whole concept of the ocean. Is why is it down there? You know what I mean? What's it doing? Like, I don't...
Because it's still a part of our ecosystem.
But
like,
why do
somehow.
we need why do we need the oceans to be so deep? And why do they need to be... if it's that, like, crazy, why do things need to live in it? Like, what are they doing? Do they experience joy? You know what I mean? Like, this is getting... like, okay, you look at an ant. Maybe not an ant. Oh, okay, you look at an ant and you go, you're, going about your day. Mm-hmm. But I can imagine an ant probably feels some kind of emotion.
I don't think they do.
You don't think so?
I think they're in that
maybe
part.
not.
It's kind of, doesn't it go in levels? Where it's like cockroaches and stuff don't have feelings.
That sounds like something someone told you once because you don't like cockroaches. I mean, it's probably true. I can't imagine. But then, I guess so. It's just like, why is there so much of the world so inhospitable to other parts of the world? You know what I mean? Like, you stick a frog up in the air and it'll fall into its death. You stick a bird in the ocean and it'll drown. Like, there's so much of the earth that is so versatile and so hospitable to such a niche group of living things.
That's true. I mean, while we're on the topic of that, they found this fish that is like, lives the deepest of any fish. This fish lives at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, which is like pretty much impossible. But it's kind of like, it's the world's deepest living fish. And you have to think, is it lonely? What's it doing down there? How'd it get there?
What's it doing now? What's it eating? Why?
Well, it eats like things off the ground, I think. But I don't even think it has eyes. Like, it just uses its little sucker mouth. It doesn't really have any parts of its body because it can't, like, that deep down, you pretty much can't swim, like, at all. They just
like,
kind of float
I
around.
understand evolution, like, things evolve to survive the environment in which they have to. But why? For what purpose?
They can't. Well, what
I feel like we're getting like into religion here, but like, why?
I don't know about the why, but they can't really get out of there, can they? They can't just swim upwards and be like, oh, well, let's see what happens.
That's what's kind of fucked. They're trapped down there. We're trapped up here. Like, the birds are trapped. Well, they're pretty versatile.
They're trapped in the atmosphere.
I mean? Like, the polar bears are trapped in cold environments. It's just... I wish we could all visit. I wish I could go on a little day trip down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench and say hi to this little dude that's sucking up all the ground dirt. And I wish that little dude could come up and visit my house for the weekend. I just feel like every creature should be able to experience all these different facets of our planet. This is what I'm saying. We're going off to Mars and shit, which I love space travel.
Yeah.
Like, you know me.
Yeah.
But, like... let's just explore our own backyard first. You know what I mean? I think we've set our sights a little too big. Let's just really get a firm understanding of where we are before we shoot off into another planet.
I mean, that's very true. I think if you were going to go on a day trip into the ocean, though, you definitely wouldn't want to come across a giant squid.
Yeah. Well, unless it was friendly.
Unless it was friendly. I don't think those friends would... Friends? I don't think those giant squids would be very friendly.
Friends, it's okay.
Well, I also have another question.
Oh,
while we're on the
these.
topic of giant squid, and then we can move on to the next zone.
Yeah.
But Erica,
Yeah.
how would you fend off a giant squid?
Well, okay, see, now that we've talked about them, I kind of feel like it's my buddy. I don't want to. But if I had to fend off a giant squid, first question, are we in the water, like submerged in the water? Because then I'm at a severe disadvantage.
Yes, it's just taken you.
Shit. I suppose my first reaction would just be to try to, like...
Maybe you're swimming and you come across one.
Good Lord.
Somehow.
So I don't have any weapons. Maybe I'd, like, pretend to be a rock. I'm talking self-defense. This is not... I don't think I'm going to win against the squid. But self-defense, I just, like, curl up in a little ball and let myself sink.
Okay, you've already lost because you're not supposed to go limp.
Are you not? With giant
No.
Oh, no.
No.
I said the exact wrong thing.
It would just keep attacking you.
Oh, no.
You're a goner.
In that case, I'd probably try biting it, I guess.
You would try biting it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's giant. That might help.
I mean, that's my only natural defense, you know?
You're like, you try and eat me, I'll try and eat you.
Exactly. Like, I don't really have claws or big kangaroo feet to kick it. I've got teeth, though. Why? How would you fight a giant squid?
I'd probably try and punch it in the face, so you can't really see its eyes.
And also, I feel like I'm going to have more, like, I feel like we're talking about water resistance. I feel like you're going to lose a lot of that strength in that punch. Whereas your teeth, you've always got your jumpers.
From the research I've done, I think you have to do somersaults in the water and you have to try and get away.
No. We need to backtrack just a moment. From the research you've done into fighting giant squid.
Yes, because so basically what happened is, again, no one responds to our emails.
Oh, yeah.
And this is all under my name, thank you very much. I emailed a professor at a university in Sydney.
Professor of marine biology.
Professor of marine biology, very qualified. I pretty much said, hey, you look qualified. What is the best way to fend off a giant squid? I just want to be prepared. Thank you.
And he didn't get back to you?
He did not get back to me. So either he doesn't know.
Or he got by the squid, in which case we definitely don't want to ask him.
No. Because then the squid's out to get us.
Squid's checking his emails. These two are
He's got his phone. We have to make sure. But so I thought, again, I'm just going to figure this out on my own because now I want to know. I'm worried that I'm going to go for a swim in the ocean and get taken by a giant squid.
Especially if they listen to this. They'll be ready for your tactical punching them in the face.
Can you imagine it putting little headphones into us?
That'd be so cute. I don't think maybe he is, but I like the imagery.
I know. But yes, I Googled it in the end.
The most reliable
Somersaults.
source.
For everyone listening, somersaults.
I can do underwater somersaults, so that seems maybe viable for me.
Yeah, somersaults confuses the giant squids apparently. So
I don't know where you're getting this information from. I hope it's true though. I hope it's true.
I hope so.
I trust you.
Thank you.
Let's venture further down. Mm-hmm. So we've passed the midnight zone, which, as we've established, humans just giant squids do live there. And let's head into the next and second final zone called the abyss. Like I said, these names are just so cool. And this is when we're talking 4,000 meters below. And it's just dark and it's cold and it's empty. Except you might stumble across the deepest shipwreck ever found. Can you believe that? There was this boat called SS Rio Grande that sunk down to 5,700 meters below sea level.
Oh my goodness.
It's a bit daunting, isn't it?
It is. This segues into my next question for you, Erica.
Okay.
This is just a hypothetical, purely hypothetical.
And unlike all these other questions.
While we're talking about sinking.
Okay.
Let's say if someone dumped your body over the deepest part of the ocean, just happened to be the deepest part of the ocean, would you just keep sinking all the way down?
No.
No?
Humans are shockingly buoyant. That's why all these bodies get dredged up in rivers.
That's true.
So what happens after you, I don't know, I know this, but it takes like, far out, I don't know the exact time, but it's a window between like 7 to 24 hours where all the gases in your body start to release after you die, and it basically makes you a giant like balloon, and you just bounce right back up to the surface.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't think you'd have an answer for that.
Which is why when like if you think someone's been like, you know, had a body shoved into the water, there's really no point in looking for it up until that first check mark when you know it's going to be decomposed enough that the gases are going to shoot back up to the... That's why in all those old mafia movies, they'd like tie cement bricks around people to try to keep them way down.
So that they can't... What if you had... Okay, well then if you had cement bricks tied to you?
Well, see, eventually, unless they're like really secure, like you would just rot. Your feet and stuff would just rot away down there, and then you'd lose the bricks and you'd bounce right back up. But let's just say theoretically you did drop a body. down to the deepest part of the ocean, you would be entering the trenches, the final stage of the ocean, and the deepest, also called the hadopelagic, which is when we're talking 6,000 meters below. So it's called the trenches because this basically occurs in only trenches. You pass that like sea floor area and you go into the deep canyons, such as the Mariana Trench, which is the deepest. And this will take you down to the bottom, which is 10,994 meters down, or 11 kilometers.
But we also have a couple other creatures too. We have a 300 million year old squid called the vampire squid from hell.
Just the one?
Just the one? No, they've been there. They've been around for 300 million years. No one really knows how old they are.
Well, you're like good.
No one's actually seen them in their natural habitat. They've only ever been like washed up. But they're pretty freaky looking. They're called the vampire squid because they have these like webbed, they have like 8 webbed feet and it looks like a cape.
So how old again? I'm not...
300 million years they've been around. Like they've found fossils of them that look pretty much indistinguishable. Like they have not changed much because when you're in that part of the ocean, it's just like you don't really, they haven't evolved. Like it's just like stayed pretty much the same.
Because the bottom of the ocean hasn't evolved, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit.
It's pretty crazy, but they do this thing where if they're around a predator, they invert their skin and they expose their spine. So it basically looks like they're just showing their butthole.
Okay.
Which is either very brave or very risky.
Yeah, could go either way.
Could go either way. And there's also this squid with 26 feet long arms that they randomly came across in the Gulf of Mexico like 10 years ago or something. And it's got like elbow arms. It's the weirdest thing ever. It's called the big fin squid. So we have like aliens in our oceans,
well, that's
really.
the thing. We've got all these creatures that have been around for so much longer than anything on the Earth's surface. In many ways, if we're judging it by just longevity, it's the superior biodome, isn't it? The deep ocean. Things certainly seem to have lasted longer. There's been more stability, less change, which if that's an indicator for success, then kudos to the deep sea. But this is where I really... Okay, so when people say you go up to space, you can't, survive up in the air, that to me seems fine. I'm like, yes, because humans aren't made to go up, you know? Like we can only jump yay high, and that's how it is.
Gravity.
Gravity is there. But we should be able to go down. It's only natural. We go down all the time. You fall, you sit, you go down a hill. You know what I mean? Gravity is there.
Yeah.
So we should be able to go down. The fact that we can't, because we just cease to go down. You start to float.
You just give up and you float.
Also, but also because it's just you can't do it. It's totally inhospitable, death quite instantly.
Death, destruction,
and then third,
popping. Yeah.
All these other creatures are sort of making it their home.
Yeah, I don't think you would want to come across these. I feel like you'd get tentacles trying to eat you, tentacle legs, 26 feet long, randomly out of nowhere.
Like, it's so dark, you couldn't see them coming.
No. I read that the giant squid, when it eats, it has like gag reflex problems. So it eats bigger things really, really slowly. So it would be, if you were still alive at that point, it would be a very slow death. Like, you wouldn't want to come across this.
Almost certainly not.
No. So, in our ocean versus ocean.
Yeah.
What are our main... What's your verdict here?
It's hard to separate the creatures from the in the habitat,
because they can't exist without the other.
Yeah. Well, I think the ocean could exist without any things in it. It's just a big pile of water, isn't it?
That's true.
But I just...
What's scarier?
I'm not over this MythBusters video I watched. It fucked me up. It's not even that deep. This is the thing. If all these deadly things about the ocean, like the pressure and the darkness and the etc., etc. That all occurred in the like abyss zone, in the trenches. I could deal with that, you know? It's the fact that that's like 100 meters down. It is really, really close.
Yeah.
It is not that far at all. You could accidentally go scuba diving and get the bends. Like, just the fact that something that is so accessible, so like prolific, and so dangerous and not meant for humans, to me, there's like a deep existential, like, the world really isn't ours, you know? It's not meant for us.
I know. Well, when I think about the fact that we have our own aliens down there, and they're there. Like, we forget about them, but if you go swimming, I mean, they're not going to be right beneath you, but they're around.
They're pretty beneath you, though.
And they can, you know, come back up.
They come up.
They come up. They go back down.
Hi.
Yeah. Come give you a nip on your foot. But like, to me, I don't know. That's just terrifying.
So we're still divided. No unanimous decision.
I mean, now that you've debunked my fear question about if someone dumped your body, would you fall all the way down to the bottom?
No, you'd pop back up.
Now I'm a lot less scared of the ocean because I
Really?
know that at least your body would just come back up.
Okay, well, what if I put it this way? What if you were in a shipwreck and your body was trapped in the ship and it floated down to the Mariana Trench, you would be down there, the bottom of the, like, accessible earth, in the dark, in the cold.
Oh, yeah, because it's freezing down there. It's like freezing temperatures.
Quite literally, 1 degree. Yeah. Not that cold. Not as cold as I thought it was going to be. 1 degree is not that bad.
Okay, I thought it was going to be like minus 40 or something.
Yeah, no, not that bad.
Near freezing.
But you're there in the dark, in the cold, that
Wet,
far
sad.
below, knowing no one is ever going to be able to come and get you.
Okay, yeah, no, I can't handle that. You've done it now. Yeah, I would love for a giant squid to come and help me at that point.
Oh my God, if a giant squid like slooped my body out of the ship and popped it back up onto the sort of ocean surface, hell yeah.
Because at that, I don't think a snailfish could help you at that point. That's the only thing that's down there that's that deep. But if a giant squid could somehow help you on the way to floating down,
it might.
It could. Otherwise, you're just dealing with lots of little like plankton.
And you'd just be there forever.
Oh God, no!
And it's so deep, and it's so dark, and it's so bad for people.
It's so bad for you.
So bad for you to be at the bottom of the ocean. Don't do it.
Verdict: it's bad for you to be at the bottom of the ocean. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't be at the bottom of the ocean if you can avoid it. Yeah, I mean, don't do that to James Cameron. He loves that bloody place.
Well, this has been the Hoke Poke Pod. I'm Emily.
And I'm Erica.
We'll see you next time.
Hi, you've reached the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening, and if you like what you've heard, it would be fantastic if you could rate us or leave a review.
Or better yet, show us to some of your friends. Get the word out there about this spooky little podcast.
If you want to know more about us or this episode, you can visit our website, thehokepokepod.com.au.
We post updates, links, episodes, and any references we've mentioned, you'll be able to find them right there.
We'd like to say a huge thank you to Giamo Timble for the amazing graphics and art that he's made for the podcast, as well as our undying appreciation to Robert P. Kelly, our marvellous and ever patient editor.
We love you, Rob.
And finally, if you'd like to contact us, you can send us an email at hokepokepod@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you.
Feedback, episode suggestions, whatever takes your fancy, we will be there.
Thank you so much for the support, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye!
Bye!